Billy, and I think I'm the only one that has it. Emily, okay, so guys, listen. If you're on this team, I'm very jealous of you. I have amazing uplines. But this girl, I'm telling you what, I've never known anyone that loves and makes you feel loved so quickly. Like the first time I met her, she thought I was awesome. And I just wasn't used to that. She's got a gift of making you feel so special and so loved. And what a blessing that is for you guys to have her as your upline. I just so thankful for our friendship, truly. Okay, so yeah, I'm Laine Loftis. I'm a Diamond Ambassador. It's so crazy to say that forever. I hope it feels crazy to say that because whenever I started Plexus almost 5 years ago, the reason I started was because I was dealing with, well, I was psycho at the moment. Postpartum depression had me like, and I am a 7. And so it's especially hard for an Enneagram 7 to have any emotional feelings other than happiness and joy. Like it's horrible. And I had experienced several years of horrible marriage, my parents going through a divorce, just bad life stuff. But for whatever reason, it wasn't until after I had my third baby, who was my rainbow baby, I had just had a miscarriage, that all of that just like showered down on me and I couldn't even pretend to be happy. I remember telling my pastor, Pastor Buddy is his name, and he does look like a little buddy. He's just so cute. And Michael and I were walking into the church, and he's like, how are you doing? This was prior to Plexus. It's whenever we were in our not so happy marriage state. How's it going, guys? Good morning. Good morning. How are you? And I said, not very good, buddy. Not very good. I couldn't even fake it. I was either mad or sad, and there was no pretending. That's where I was at. I had a horrible mom day. I yelled at my kids who were just babies, a 4-year-old, a 2-year-old, and a newborn, and felt the guilt got me. So I started because they needed to be taken care of in a way better way than what I was doing. I sucked as a mom. And we dealt with infertility for so many years in the beginning of our marriage that the fact that I was a mom should have made me the happiest, most grateful Mary Poppins woman in the world. And I wasn't that. And so the guilt overcame me. And I reached out to my friend, Deborah Hoppy. Now, 3 days prior to reaching out to her, my friend Brooke and I, who is now an Emerald on my team, we were literally making fun of Deborah, who I ordered from. And we were like, let's take a pink drink selfie. I'm sure we had Coke or Dr. Pepper. So let's take a pink drink selfie. We were joking about it. We were making fun. That's how against Plexus that I was. But the Lord had a plan, and he loves to make me eat my words. I have to do it all the time. And so 3 days later was my bad mom day, and I was desperate. It was like drugs or Plexus, because something's got to happen today. And I was nursing, and so I had to choose Plexus over the drugs, which, hallelujah, right? Okay. So I called her. I'm like, hey, I'm fine. I just would love to have some more energy. I didn't tell her that I was, had snot all over my face because I just cried my eyes out. I just said, I'm fine, but I could use some clean energy. That's fine while I'm nursing. So she gave me some samples. The rest is history. Obviously, the products work. Anyone who does the products, who tries the products, they work. We know this. But it was a few weeks later, I felt convicted to share. I made a post, and I hadn't signed up as an ambassador because I was not getting sucked into anything. Like, that is just so against everything I ever believed. I didn't even know network marketing was the title to that stuff people did on Facebook. I didn't know that. But the Lord just made me do it. I had to make a post and tell that, hey, guess what, guys? While I was sharing all those great pictures of this first month at home with Jason, I was dying. I was miserable, and I yelled at my kids, and I was a real suck mom. Like, it was a very real life post, and I had never made one of those. I had always made happy posts because I was always happy until that last little bit. And that night, my phone blew up. Because there's a lot of people that know I'm real. There's a lot of people that only trusted me. Just like there's a lot of people that will only trust you. They're not going to trust anyone else. They're going to make fun of everybody else. But there'll be something about you that if they ever try it, you're going to be the one that they talk to. Just like Deborah was the one I talked to because I trusted her. And so I messaged her and I was like, well, I guess I need to be one of those ambassadors, because now if these people join, I can get my products paid for, right? Because we were broke. We couldn't afford it. And within a few weeks of that, after that, Michael was blowing up my phone one day. I had three kids. I say all these kids, only three, but it felt like a zoo. And I was ignoring his messages. And so he called me on the house phone. Yes, we had a house phone. And he called me and said, answer your message, look at your messages. And I said, babe, I'm literally nursing and stirring mac and cheese right now. Like, I can't do that. He said, well, look at him as soon as you can. Well, he had sent me one diamond documentary after another one. I would love for you to write your favorite diamond documentary in the chats. I can't wait for you to see Emily's, because I think it's going to be the best thing you've ever seen. But he sent me all these. And I watched him and he said, babe, you're going to be a diamond. And I didn't know what that even meant. I just knew it was a big deal. I said, okay. And so 4 years later, I was a diamond. And that's just how it goes. Because in that 4 years, I didn't quit and I didn't even consider it. Because what we're doing is changing lives. It's changing lives. And that was it for me. It's very simple for me. So none of that was in my notes. So I should probably get to my notes. Okay. So, I'm going to read you guys a motivational story. I just read this to my team and it's just so good. I love starting out with a motivational story. A gentleman was walking through an elephant camp and he spotted that the elephants weren't being kept in cages or held by the use of chains. All that was holding them back from escaping the camp was a small piece of rope tied to one of their legs. As the man gazed upon the elephants, he was completely confused as to why the elephants didn't use their strength to break the rope and escape the camp. They could easily have done so, but instead they didn't try to at all. Curious and wanting to know the answer, he asked a trainer nearby why the elephants were just standing there and never tried to escape. The trainer replied, when they are very young and much smaller, we use the same size rope to tie them, and at that age, it's enough to hold them. As they grow up, they are conditioned to believe they cannot break away. They are conditioned to believe that they cannot break away. They believe the rope can still hold them, so they never try to break free. The only reason that the elephants weren't breaking free and escaping from the camp was that over time, they adopted the belief that it just wasn't possible. So the moral of the story is no matter how much the world tries to hold you back, always continue with the belief that what you want to achieve is possible. Believing you can become successful is the most important step in actually achieving it. So I want to say, if you don't have the husband that has said you're going to be a diamond one day, I'm telling you, you're going to be a diamond one day. But you have to believe that inside of here, or I promise it will not happen, because you got to have it deep inside of you. So I just love that story. And I read those to myself all the time because we all need a little motivation, right? So Emily said I could talk about whatever I want. She is a brave human. She is so brave. Right now, today, in the last few weeks, I have been very passionate about time freedom. And here's why. Because I found myself very recently stressed, overwhelmed, and overworked. And it didn't last long because I don't deal with those emotions very well. And I said, no, this is not what I worked for. And this is not going to happen. It's not going to happen. And so my hope is that I can help you guys create a healthy lifestyle as you go to the top. That way, when you get there, you have a balanced life. It's going to get crazy at times. That's normal. It doesn't mean you're failing, but it's important to rebalance. Financial freedom is pointless without time freedom. And you mustn't wait until you're a diamond to create that. Learn from me. Don't wait until you're here. Do it now. If you're not intentional about how you build your business, your very success can trap you. You build a business that owns you instead of you owning a business. It's so important. And so, guys, whenever something comes to me, we have a YouTube channel. Oh, yeah, I forgot all that. Real quick, because of the Plexus income, when I was at Ruby, we retired my husband from his job. He was an insurance broker. and sold literally everything we own except for one dresser and a tote for each kid with their sentimentals. Home, car, land, animals, all of it gone, sold it. Bought a truck and a fifth wheel, traveled the world full time of our lives, best decision we ever made. We are transitioning right now to part-time traveling because my free spirit can't give it up completely. That wouldn't have happened without Plexus, like not even close. But the time freedom means nothing if you're in the RV or you're in that said dream working while your family is enjoying the time freedom. So as things come to me, and that's where I was at before I butt into myself, we have messages on YouTube and Instagram, hundreds that come in every day. And it's very hard. You might have a full-time job. You might be a single mom. You might be going through a divorce. Whatever your situation, it's overwhelming. So many things are coming at you. Here is how I decipher what I'm going to do with what's coming at me. Okay, are you ready to write this down? If this is not going to be beneficial for you, if it does not add value, and if it does not bring you joy, if it is not a hell yes, then it is a hell no. Write that down. I had permission to say that, okay? I do love Jesus, and I promise. But heck isn't as powerful, guys. I'm serious. You have to say no, unapologetically no to things sometimes. Sometimes you have to say, not right now. My plate is full. Please message me back next month. You have to know your value. You have to put your family first. The people in your home need to have the best of you. Our family starts our mornings off with encounter, and that is time with the Lord. And this morning, my 2-year-old was throwing a fit because he wanted to watch Cocomelon, and he doesn't understand and all these things. But I told the kids, the first of our time must go to the Lord, the very first of it. And then after that, it's family. And then we go into homeschool, and then we go into work mode, and then you fill in the blank. It's very, very, very important that you take control of your life. The only person that you can control is you. So you cannot blame others if you're overwhelmed, because you chose to say yes to things that were unnecessary, that were not truly growing your business. Were they making people happy and satisfying people? Yes. But usually those people are doing nothing in return for you. So you've got to be careful who you say yes to. If it's not a hell yes, it's a hell no. Okay. One of the things that I wrote down is your why. We talk about our why. I don't even know who all I'm talking to tonight. Like if there's brand new people or if it's just rubies, I don't even know, but it doesn't matter because your why is important from the very beginning. But if you're seasoned, you know that your why evolves. So in the beginning, I was like sharing because the Lord made me do it. And I knew there was other moms that needed it. And then it went to like, oh, Michael said if I go Ruby, he'll quit going to that office every day and leaving me here at this zoo. So I'm like, that's my why. I want to be with my husband every day. When we are physically together, we're flipping awesome. When we're apart, like it falls apart. We're horrible communicators unless we're face to face. I wanted him home with me. I wanted us to be together. That was my why. And then like, I wanted to go diamond because can you imagine what that would do for not my kids, my grandkids? Generations will be changed because of this decision to not quit. But you know what's very important is to remember that very first why. When your why evolves, it doesn't mean your first why goes away. You must hold on to that. And I first took that drink. I first took that pink drink because I wanted to be a better mom. That is priority. What is your priority? Never let your business come before that or it will not be blessed. It will not. You can work, but if it's not inside of here and you're not balanced, you're overworking and it's not going to show up in your life. It's not going to benefit you. Productivity should lead to freedom. Freedom. If it's not leading to that, we need to reevaluate. It's freedom to focus, freedom to be present, freedom to be spontaneous, freedom to do absolutely nothing. That is not my quote. I wish it was. It's from Michael Hyatt. And I love it and I read it and it's up on my dresser every day because busyness is a form of laziness. Don't busy yourself with things that are not productive. Kind of felt like I was preaching at you there, didn't mean to. But my challenge to you guys tonight is to cut the fat from your life. Cut the fat. Whatever is not, that's like the country version, so I hope you know what I mean. Whatever is not the meat, cut it off. Whatever is not benefiting you, your business, your team, your family, cut it. And the hardest thing for many people, probably especially women, is saying no to others. And I understand that. And sometimes we should say yes just out of the goodness of our heart because the Lord told us to do it. But it's very, very important that we don't confuse no with failure or you're letting somebody down, because you're showing them how to lead. And so if we have any leaders on here tonight, you are setting the example for your team. So if they get a voice message from you and you are balancing a million plates and you sound stressed out and worn out and overwhelmed, why would they want that? Why would they want that? That's not attractive. So don't fake it. Don't put on your happy voice and tell the kids, shut up. I'm sending a voice message. Don't speak. Be silent. And then, no, like truly be that. Truly be that. So I just challenge you guys to cut the fat out of your life, to reevaluate your heart, and to share with passion, because people can smell and see fake from a mile away. And what is real is that these products work. What is real is that they will change people's health. What is real is there is not one other company that's even comparable to Plexus, period. There's not even comparable. The heart, it's February and it's all about hearts, right? But the heart behind our company is unbelievable. It will bless people. The compensation plan is real and it's lasting. It's lasting. It will benefit your family forever. That's real. So that's all I have, Emily. I don't know if it's too short, too long, but I love you guys and I appreciate your time tonight.
Laine, are you open to do like just a few minutes of questions? Do you mind? Okay. Does anybody have any questions for Laine? And it doesn't even have to be what she spoke on. Just so you know, like she said, she and her husband both, like, she's got a huge social media following and her husband does YouTube videos, like a huge following with YouTube. So like she said, I mean, she's got 4 kids, she's homeschooling, they have the Plexus business and social media. Like that's a lot of plates. Anybody have any questions specific for her? Don't be shy.
Oh,
yeah, go ahead.
Sorry. I don't really have a question, but today, well, I guess it is kind of a question, but today I had a person that gave me this was supposed to be one of my friends, that gave me a really nasty reply to what I had said, and I almost start crying, but I've been crying all day long because it's really bothered me, and I really want to help people. You know, I don't know what I'm Brittany Albert. She's really helping me, so hopefully we'll get on top of it. But do you got any advice for that?
Yes. Okay. So I'm so sorry because I think everyone understands that hurt. We've all had people misunderstand us, so you're not alone in those feelings. And you know what? Cry it out. Throw a big old fit. Tomorrow's a new day. The sun's going to come up, and their thoughts of you don't matter. Your thoughts of you matter. This is one of those times you choose. Do I quit? Do I let it get me down? Or do I stand up and continue because I have the belief inside of me? So I'm praying for you.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
So Laine, my question would be, there's not a ton of time in the day to do parenting, working, making all the meals, doing all the things. And we need to be business owners. Like this, if we want this to grow as a business, we have to treat it as a business. That doesn't necessarily mean 8 to 12 hours a day, but how would you encourage, like, because that is so very important. Yes, you do need to prioritize your family and all the things, but you also have a job to do. So do you have any suggestions on that? Because I think it'd be easy to think, okay, well, my priority is my family, so Plexus can come later. You have to have a healthy balance in that, because you're not going to grow if you're putting Plexus at the very end of your priorities. Whoa.
Right. And your,
Hang on 1 second. I know, I don't
Okay.
really know.
I was seeing that too. Can you see me?
Okay. Yes. Okay. We're good now.
And if family is your priority, then the last thing you will do is quit being consistent and showing up for your business. It can be a lie that we tell ourselves, well, my family's it's just taken away from my family time. Well, what is your priority? If it's family, then you treat this business like a business and you run and you get your family on board. So for instance, in our life, we wake up and do encounter. My husband's messaging me right now. We wake up and do encounter, and then homeschool has been very hard for me to balance into our life, to be completely honest. We're just now getting into a rhythm where I'm able to step away. But it's very important. Every day before noon, I have 1 hour that I work. My family knows it. My husband and my kids are on board with it. When I step away, and timers are everything in my life. I've got this list of things to do that are producing value to my business, and the timer is set. I don't check Voxer and hang out with my friends during that time. I do my work, things that are going to grow my income, because my family is a priority. So I would say, do not use the excuse of, well, my family's priority, so I'm going to put my business to the side. No, that's not having a business. That's not owning a business. That's a hobby. And why would you choose Plexus as a hobby whenever you can make a whole lot of money if you treat it like a business? So it's just important that you communicate with your family and you prioritize your work time. It's not an optional thing. It's not the only day I have off is Sunday. It's not an optional thing. I do my best work at night. I do a lot of work from the time the kids go to bed until about 11 p.m. And that works for me. If you're best in the mornings, then get up before your family, but you've got to prioritize that time.
So good. I just wanted to make sure people were hearing, like, you still have to prioritize your business. That doesn't mean, oh, well, I'll get to it when I want to do it. Like, if you want to grow, you have to be organized. And did you guys hear what she said? She has 1 hour in the afternoon or in the morning, and she sits down and has her list. So that means that probably the night before, she wrote out her list of what she was going to accomplish in that hour. So it's all about organization. So that way she can get in and get her stuff done, not do the fluff, not do the things, what did you say, that were not beneficial, that didn't add value, that were not truly growing your business. Because oftentimes when I'm not organized, I will sit down and then I will feel so overwhelmed and so chaotic, because there are all these threads going and all these notifications going and all these emails coming. It's like, okay, I don't even know where to begin. And then it's 2 hours later and I've done nothing. I've completed nothing. So that's where we have to get out of that chaos and that busyness and be organized.
So true.
Anybody else have any questions?
I got a question. So my husband had kind of thought that, like, under the impression of if you grew your business and you got higher in rank, that it increased the amount of time that you would be on your phone. So what are your thoughts on that and how you do that in your time? Like, how many hours realistically per week do you tend to spend, or per day per se?
Mm-hmm. That's a great question. And that's a real fear. That's a real, like in any other business, you think as I climb the ladder, I'm going to have to be there more, right? You choose your hours. Realistically, the least amount of time I spend in a day is 2 hours, because this is a business and I prioritize that time. 2 focus hours is the least amount of time.
Let me just interrupt. 2 hours a day where you're averaging $20,000 a month ain't too shabby. So I think we have to keep that in mind.
Yeah.
I just get passionate about it because you hear that question often, and it's like, you're not going into an office for 8 hours a day. You are having condensed 2, 3, maybe 4 hours at the most. But if you think about it, you're with your family, you're making $20,000 a month. It's worth it. It's worth it.
Yeah. When you divide your hours and see how much you're making an hour, it's insane. And you can work from anywhere. We work in our jammies. I worked all over the world. I chose where I worked, but I would say that if you're working over 4 hours a day, that's because you're shooting for a rank or something crazy, and it's worth it. It's worth it in those times. But as far as with each rank up, do you work more? No. With each rank up, you work differently. Your IPA shift. The most important thing I can tell you is to organize your time. Just like what Emily said, you have to organize your time. Every night, I go to bed knowing exactly what tomorrow is bringing. I know what I need to get done in my homeschool category, in my work category, and in my meal plan category. It sounds so but it works.
And I'll tell you what, Kylie, I bet that you work more now than you will when you're a diamond. Jordan Ronberry was just saying the other night, she said, I don't work at night anymore. And she used to work at night every single night until like midnight every night because she wanted to. She's an Enneagram 3. She loves work. So that's not normal. Like I didn't do that, but that's what she would do. And she doesn't do that anymore. And so I really do think, yes, your time has shifted. It looks differently. But for me, it's a lot less because it's residual income. It's beautiful. Tell Richie I'll talk to him. Okay.
Tim already did, but I wanted it recorded so I could send it to other people who have the same thing.
Okay, one more question. Anyone else have one more question? Laine, you're just, no, the Loftis, what is your handle on Instagram? I can't remember.
LPO6. Loftis Party of 6.
Okay, you guys go follow her. She's amazing. She's so fun. I just love you more than anything. Do you do training videos, Laine? I know you've got a lot of stuff on your page, but do you do like YouTube training videos?
Yeah, I've got a few YouTube trainings. I've been doing my Monday night. So yeah, find me on YouTube. Okay.
Laine, you're the best. I love you so much. Thank you, thank you, thank you. If you guys are a part of the accountability group, I'm going to ask for you guys to stay on. If you're not a part of the accountability group, you are so welcome to stay, but you're also welcome to hop off. We're just going to spend a few more minutes here. Okay, is this all of the accountability girls? I'm going to grab a link to put, oh, I can't minimize. Hang on a second. I'm going to grab a link to put in the chat. So make sure you guys can see the chat group or the chat. So I want you to do something. Okay. In the chat is our Facebook. It's a link to the Facebook accountability page. Most of you are in there, but I have totally dropped the ball in that page. And so I would like for you all to go to that link and just make sure that you are either in the group or you add yourself to that group. First point of business there, because that's, like I said, I've dropped the ball. And so we're going to get back into like really being intentional with accountability group. We're going to be intentional with the forms. If this is your first year of doing, or your first time of doing accountability group, those forms that I put in Rising Jewels a few days ago, they're just like IPA sheets. I think I had 3 different versions of them. I will put them into this Facebook group that I dropped here in the comments. I will put them in there as soon as we get off of this call. We're going to go through those every week. You do not have to have them filled out, but I want you to use them as accountability to fill them out. And I want you every Monday morning, Monday, no later than like 4 p.m. Mountain Standard Time, I want you to put what you have completed from your form into that group. I will have a post on there that says, okay, tonight's accountability group, drop your forms in the comments. It doesn't matter if they're completed. You're not going to be kicked out of the group. We used to do that. But I really, really want everybody to make that a priority, because that's going to be a part of our accountability group. Not just sitting around talking about trainings. I want us to have that accountability to see what's working, what's not working, to celebrate the wins, all those things. Make sure that you've added yourself there. Let's go through a few quick wins. I want you guys to unmute yourself and tell me something good that happened to you or good that happened to your business in the month of January.
I signed an ambassador and have not signed one since October. So I was really proud of myself.
So I messaged a family friend back in October and she totally ghosted my message. We texted about other stuff and never brought it up again. And like a week and a half ago, she's like, okay, so I'm ready to talk Plexus. And it was like, she's been watching my Instagram all these months. And it was so cool because she's like, I've been watching you and I've been seeing what you're posting. And finally she was ready. And she was just on the call just now. I was like, oh, she's so excited. I'm so excited. I don't know if she'll do the business, but she's like over the moon about her products. So,
What is her name?
Kathy Holzer.
Okay, I noticed. I was like, I don't know who she is. Yay! Good job, Laine. Kinsey, what were you gonna say?
I had a total stranger approach me and like want products. I was like, this like never happens. So it's somebody that Kevin knew. Like I have never met. I was like, do you know who this is? She just like texted me out of the blue and was like, hey, I've been seeing your stuff. I really want to try it. I'm like, yay, like somebody's seeing my posts. And I'm not just like, because I feel like lots of times I put up posts and it's just like crickets. I'm like, so good to know that it's doing something.
Your posts have been phenomenal. If you guys are not looking at Kinsey's post, no pressure, Kins, to keep it up, but for real, keep it up. Her posts have been amazing. Carrie Compton, I know you've had a few wins.
Well, I ended last night right before the clock struck over and signed a dream teamer that came to my house a couple of weeks ago and sat and talked to me for a couple of hours. She's not ready to do the business yet, and that's okay, but I think she will eventually, sooner rather than later, I hope.
Kanya?
My team grew by 6, and so that felt big after months and months of maybe 1 or 2, maybe. And so, yeah, we grew by 6.
And if you haven't seen her intermittent fasting before and after, that's also a huge win. You are hot, babe. April Robinson, speaking of hot babes, I want you to talk to us real quick about your win that you shared in Gold Diggers today about sending that really scary message.
Okay, so I have a very close friend. For whatever reason, like the closer the friend, I think the harder it is for me to reach out about the business. And she's a new mom, a brand new mom. And so I've been communicating with her obviously a ton, just about this new chapter in her life and everything. And it's like, as soon as I feel the courage to just kind of put a little bug in her ear, I just chickened out, and I didn't want her to think that I was only talking to her to like bait her into a Plexus conversation. So it's been weeks of me just like composing like a whole message and deleting the whole thing. And I don't know what it was about today. It might have been the video, the training video that you shared for us to watch. But I just felt bold, and I loved the way that my message flowed. It felt really real and not overthought. Like it was just really came from my heart. I mean, most of my messages do, but this one was just really important to me. So I hit send and it felt so good. I was like kind of shaking a little. And then I was like, you know what? I have someone else on my mind that I've also been wanting to send a similar message to. And I'm going to do it. And so I sent 2 big, bold business messages, and that is my absolute weakness. So.
Yay! Did you say in parentheses, I know this looks like I'm really cool, calm and collect and like low key, but I've actually spent like 2 weeks preparing this message in parentheses?
No, but I did kind of put it out there that I was like, I've been having you on my mind for weeks about this, and I've just been super nervous to reach out. But you've been on my heart, and I need you to know. And that was not in parentheses. It was kind of my opening line, but I'm crossing my fingers that it went well. I promised myself I would not check the status of that message, and I did, and it's been read, and we're still waiting. So stay tuned.
But again, you being honest and open and vulnerable and having a close relationship with her, she may not be interested, but that's not you. She's not saying no to you, but she will receive that knowing you and knowing that that was from your heart. She will receive that beautifully. If you feel comfortable enough, and if you would want to send it into that Gold Diggers thread, I would love to see it. And I know everybody else would too, but only if you feel comfortable. I don't want you to feel uncomfortable. But I think that would be a great example for all of us to look at too. Okay.
Yeah, I could do that.
Thanks, Abe. Any other wins? There have been so many. You guys are amazing. You're killing it. Okay, well, let's go through really quickly. So the Gold Mastermind 3 is what we went through this last week. We're going to go to the last one, Gold Mastermind 4, and talk through that next week. But this one is about the business ownership and like investing into your business and incentivizing your team, finishing strong or setting up for the following month. She was talking a lot about trainings and getting into action. And then the thing that stood out to me, probably one of the things that stood out to me the most was when Brooke was talking about being a woman of vision, not a woman of victimhood, because that will destroy your heart, your business, your family, when you have that victim mindset. And then who is in your 4% of the people showing up? That's like a brief summary of what Gold Mastermind 3 was about. What stood out to you guys? What did you take away from that series?
Can I go? Okay. So the whole protecting your time and creating boundaries, she straight up called me out by, you might be too protective of your boundaries. You might have too tight of boundaries. And so that was really good for me to hear, because I have been so tight on my boundaries because there are so many things going on in our life right now, and they take so much mental attention. And so it's been like, well, but my family comes first. My family comes first. But then, I mean, Laine just came and like slapped me across the face too. So it's just like, oh my gosh, like you guys are killing me. I'm sensing a theme here. And so that was really good for me to hear that it's okay to loosen up, and that there are seasons of intense, but it's a season, and a season is short and seasons change. And so I don't know if that was good for any of your hearts, but I needed to hear that because it made me mad, but I needed it.
I can go. I liked what they said about like the people that you actually want doing the business with you will want to do it. And that was like really encouraging, because I'm like barely in the beginning. And so I'm like, anybody. But in real life, like you don't want 10 people who you have to like, you give them things to do, they don't even do it, or you're like feel like you're dragging them or begging them or whatever. So I thought that was really good. Like they're sure people are tiptoeing in, and there's people that might, add one person, but don't like mentally think of them as a business builder if they're not, invested enough to move forward, if that makes sense. That was like a little tweak for me.
And I think that that's really hard when you are first starting out and you do get that first person who goes silver, and you're like, okay, we're going to be the next Brooke and Emily. Let's do this. Let's link arms. And then they just like fizzle out, but you keep pouring into them and they're doing nothing. And I love, and I don't think that they shared this in this particular video, but I love that in other videos, Brooke has said, give your person a task and give them a timeline. Okay, I want you to watch this training video. Let me know in 24 hours, watch this training video, and by tomorrow night, let me know what stood out to you. And if they don't do it, it's not a business to them yet. It's not their time yet. That doesn't mean you wash your hands of them, but that means that you kind of know like where they're at. Now, if they've just had a baby or somebody's gotten really, really sick, like obviously we have grace for that. But I think that's going to help us know who is our 4%, who is the person that's showing up, who is the person that's adding people, doing training videos, doing all the things. That's who I'm going to pour my time into. And so I think that that's really valuable, because if you've got a group of people and they're just not doing anything, it's time to move on and find more people who are excited to do things. Really up your prayer time too. Like, God, put people on my heart and my mind who absolutely need this, who would be amazing at this. Give me the words to say, give me a conversation to have with them. And then, like I'm going to share with like Carrie, like she's somebody that I wanted so badly to do the business, but she wasn't ready yet. And she needed to see, she got back on the products again. And I mean, and it was tight for you, right? Like it was tight financially for you guys to do it for almost a year, but she needed that time to get her ready. And now here she is mapping out how she's going to go Ruby. It's a timing thing. So just because it may not be their time yet, doesn't mean it won't be, but it also means it's time to expand your horizons and continue to build your level 1 base and find those people who are ready to do it with you. And the encouraging thing too, is that you don't need a bazillion business builders. If you look at all the jewels, most every diamond has a handful of jewels under them, like maybe 3, maybe 4 jewels under them. That's 3 or 4 people who really caught the vision. That's not 2,500 people. You know what I mean? Like, that's encouraging to me. You just need another Mary. You just need another Abby. You just need another Kara, but you don't need 25,000 people to do well here. That's encouraging to me and has been always. Thank you, Mary. Anybody else have anything that really stood out to them?
I just kind of wanted to comment on what Abby was talking about. Like, I worked my butt off for 9 months to hit Emerald because that was my goal. Like, I was going to hit Emerald by July 31st. And I worked my butt off. Like, I put in the time. My family knew what I was doing. Like, we knew that that was our goal. But you guys, like, that snowball, like she talked about in this video, you're pushing this snowball. And I tell my team this all the time. You're pushing your snowball up this hill and it's hard. Like, it's heavy. You're doing all the work yourself. Like, when you're gold, when you're senior gold, like, you are pushing and it's really, really heavy, but it gets lighter. Like, it really, really does. That's the truth. So this short-term sacrifice of like going all in and putting in some long hours when you don't want to, maybe, it's worth it. Because that snowball starts to catch momentum and it starts to take off, and it is so, so worth it. So keep pushing.
I love that, Liz. Anybody else have any thoughts or any takeaways that they got from the training? Or even the training today. I don't want to prolong this call because we've all been here for an hour, which is a beautiful thing. We need to be, I highly, what's the word I'm looking for? I'm really proud of you. That wasn't the word I was looking for, but I'm really proud of you for showing up and being here and being willing to put an hour into your business tonight. I think this is really beautiful, and this is something very unique that not a lot of teams do. And this community of us, like one big, huge team, rather than a bunch of different teams branched off, is really beautiful because we can learn from each other. I love it so much. So anything that you guys got from the training today, or Gold Mastermind 3, or your business in general, anything you're struggling with, let's talk through if there's anything going on throw it out here. And if not, then we'll see you next week.
I probably won't say this exactly how she said it, but in the training that you posted today, Emily, she said something about stop looking at people and talking to them about what they can do for you, what actions they can do for you, but instead what you can do for them. And I thought that was so, so good.
So, and that was for business builders, right? Like people who've joined your team. What do you like? How are you going to implement that into your team? Because I know you've got, Rachel's on here right now. Like you've got a team that's growing. How are you going to implement that for your team?
Well, yeah, Rachel and Sarah are both on here. And Sarah is Rachel's business builder. I just think that we need to keep in mind when we're talking to people, that they come first. We say that a lot, but just really putting it into action, that they come first. And we need to really look at, their situation. Are they doing this for their health, for their, for a potential business, or for their a lack of community, and see what we can do to help them out. We've got the tools to help with all of those things.
So this went from a training, but this was just a conversation that I had with Liz and Hannah, but it kind of piggybacks off of that of just saying that like falling in love with the process, or like the process of talking with people and communicating and connecting with people, not so much like the outcome. And I think that was really important because sometimes as you get, you think like if you haven't signed somebody for a while, or kind of just feeling frustrated with like people, or disappointed, I guess, like where you have people come to you and then doesn't follow through with like a sign up, but more so just like being connected with people and building the relationship that we get to with all those conversations. Cause like I had somebody that I had been talking with since like March, finally come and sign last month. So it was just the right time for her, and just the communication and like the relationship we had built through that time was fun.
Yeah, it's like a trust thing, right? Like one, they need to trust that you are actually liking products that you're trying to get people to buy. Because I think a lot of times people jump into something like this and they are there for a hot minute and then gone. So it's a trust thing where people need to know like you actually are taking the products and you actually do believe in the products and you are here to stay. You're not here just to make money. I think building that trust is super, super important. And there's so many of us just on this call right here that were like years in the making, years of, look at Mel, like there are years of saying no, like I'm not going to do this pyramid scheme thing, but there's still like, there's a slight curiosity, right? Like they're still watching. So you just have to continue to build that belief in them and those relationships, Kelly. Okay, anybody else? I really encourage you guys as the leaders of this team, because you are. I don't know if you've thought about that, but if you're showing up for this accountability group, that means that you are leaders. Like you are prioritizing your business. So you are the leaders of Rising Jewels. Like let that sink in for a minute. That's a big deal. That's a big deal. Like you guys are the leaders of this team. And so I really, really hope that you guys are participating in those training videos. Sharpen your skills. I really hope that you guys have some big goals to achieve, like the Ruby Retreat. I would love to see every single one of you in Florida with us in May. If that is super far off and you're not able to do that, there are some other retreats going on. There are some gold retreats going on that will be announced pretty soon if they haven't already, with some of the other teams within this team. So there's a lot of stuff happening right now that I really would love to see you guys putting forth a lot of action for deep rewards, success sprints, the retreats, convention, your business, all of the things. So let's make February a really strong month. Sharpen your skills, pour into your people. This is a month that we really want to be focusing on that customer care and retention. And you're going to get so much of that from these videos that we're sharing with you guys every week or every day. Okay, does anybody else have anything to say? Liz? Oh, she was just waving. She was just being friendly, Liz.
I'm just waving bye. That's what I do on Zoom.
Shall we end one more time with a happy birthday song to Lacey? We probably should. Everybody go ahead and unmute yourself. I'm actually, well, oh, it is still recording. This is great. It's still recording. Okay. All right. On the count of 3. What? Nobody is unmuted. Unmute yourselves right now so it's not just me. Okay. I'm calling you guys out. Brittany, Crystal, Caitlin, Taryn, Kelly, Kanya. Okay. 1, 2, 3. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Lacey. Happy birthday to you.
I cannot wait for everybody to hear yourselves on the recording.
We sound like a bunch of dying animals. Okay, everyone. Love you all so very much. We'll see you guys later. Bye.